4 invasive carcinomas.
They threw us right out of Cedars for having an incurable cancer.
If I did not do the chemo, the radiation, I would not make it past 3 months.
My wife and my daughter were becoming so knowledgeable of some of these alternative methods.
My doctors were shocked that I refused their treatments.
Welcome to the Incurables. I'm Don Wildman. Life had been very good to Jessica Biscardi. Born into a large and loving family, she had seldom wanted for companionship or support. Jessica developed into a strong, independent woman with a well-defined sense of identity and direction. These were traits that she passed on to her own daughter, and while the two didn't always see eye to eye, they respected and appreciated each other. It was the strength of this relationship, Jessica's unyielding spirit, and her own keen instincts that would serve her best when doctors told her she had just a few short months to live.
I was diagnosed with breast cancer that had metastasized to the other side, to my lymph nodes, pancreas, and lungs. It was quite shocking.
I was devastated. They told me that she had 30 days, maximum 90 days to live.
I remember one of my friend's mothers recently died of breast cancer, fast after she found out. So when I heard about it, I immediately spiraled into a very bad depression.
Every doctor I went to, they told me that I need to have a double mastectomy. I said, no, doctor, no, thank you. I went for a second opinion, a third opinion, fourth and fifth opinion. Everyone told me the same thing, that if I do not have the chemo radiation and the major surgery, that I would not make it. As a matter of fact, when I went into one of the top international doctors, he had me scheduled for surgery the next day. All I did was go there for a second opinion.
Because I was raised in a highly academic environment, I had complete faith in conventional medicine. I didn't know there was anything else. I looked at anything else as something that was not tested and should not be paid any mind to. So when my mother didn't jump on the bandwagon right away, right when she was diagnosed and started doing chemo, the day after she found out, I was very upset.
I knew in my heart, I just knew I could not do the chemo.
So we dealt with it in other ways. We dealt with it in a nutritional manner.
It took a while for me to really see that it was working and it was valid.
Growing up with 6 brothers and sisters in New York City, Jessica was used to sharing the spotlight. But instead of competing for attention, the Biscardi children were taught to look out for one another by their father, a physician, and their mother, Puerto Rican starlet, Marquita Rivera.
I've had an incredible childhood. My parents were just wonderful parents, taught all of us so much. My mother was incredible with positive thinking and always for us to be strong, be positive. I was a very shy child. You never even knew I was around. I was just so shy. Through dancing, singing, acting, modeling, beauty pageants, I was able to somehow get through shyness.
Jessica followed in her mother's footsteps, becoming a model and a regular on the pageant circuit. At one point, she held the crown of Miss New York and competed in the preliminaries for Miss America and Miss Universe. These were exciting times that did much to boost Jessica's confidence.
They were wonderful years because it involved traveling all over the world, and it was just incredible.
Jessica decided to follow the trail blazed by her famous mother and moved to Los Angeles to pursue her own acting career. Even with her connections, success was limited. But she did manage to earn a few credits, mostly in television. She was also a print agent for celebrities and donated time to children fighting cancer and other terminal illnesses.
We would go and visit the children and visit those who have cancer. Little did I know that someday I would be in those same shoes.
The first sign of trouble for Jessica came when she went in for a routine mammogram. The x-rays revealed microcalcifications in her breast. Doctors were not immediately alarmed, but suggested Jessica be checked regularly.
So then when I went for the next mammogram, they noticed that those microcalcifications turned into areas that were of great concern.
The concern was so great that Jessica's doctors recommended a biopsy. She reluctantly agreed. During the surgery, 4 lymph nodes were removed and cancerous margins were excised. When test results indicated 4 carcinomas, Jessica's medical team insisted on an immediate and aggressive treatment program.
Several of the doctors that I went to get opinions from were telling me that I need to have a radical mastectomy to follow through with the chemo and the radiation. One of the doctors didn't want me to leave the office until I scheduled the chemo. And I said, no, this is not for me. I did the traditional tamoxifen and the Arimidex, and that didn't work for me. I mean, I ended up having 7 mini strokes. It was just a very difficult time.
It seemed that Jessica Biscardi's charmed life was about to come to an end. Doctors intended to attack her breast cancer using the mainstream methods they deemed most strategic and sensible.
The prognosis was that if I did not do the chemo, the radiation, the radical mastectomy, that I would not make it past 3 months. I just had to respect their opinion. Then again, I have my own opinion, and I just wanted to go the alternative route. There were moments of feeling very scared, not knowing if I was going to make it to the next day, the next month, the next week, the next year. Not knowing if I was going to be around for next Christmas.
Part of Jessica's desire to pursue alternative methods for battling her disease stemmed from the experiences of a friend at the Cancer Control Society, whose mother had beaten cancer naturally. That friend recommended Dr. James Forsyth in Reno, Nevada. Dr. Forsyth did his own evaluation.
The tumor had spread locally to her regional lymph nodes, but had not disseminated widely throughout her system. And she had been given the standard line from allopathic oncology, namely surgery, radiation therapy, chemotherapy, and she was not willing to accept that as her only option.
Getting to meet Dr. Forsyth in Reno, Nevada, it was wonderful. He's a tremendous doctor, very sensitive, and makes you feel like you're his only patient.
I like to give patients options. Frankly, most patients come to see me because they want to take charge of their disease and they want to use natural therapies, oftentimes in preference to standard chemotherapy or radiation or surgery.
Dr. Forsyth suggested that Jessica become part of the Poly MVA case study. Poly MVA is a nutritional supplement made up primarily of palladium and alpha-lipoic acid, along with minerals, vitamins, and amino acids.
This complex is able to get into the cancer cells and turn up the voltage to the point where the cancer cell basically self-electrocutes.
The first stage of treatment called for the intravenous application of Poly MVA in order to build up Jessica's body's surplus in an attempt to overwhelm the cancer cells. Then Jessica would take the supplement orally 8 times per day.
Being in the Poly MVA case study, I would see Dr. Forsyth. It would be every 3 months or every 5 months, and in the interim, I would have the liquid with me.
It was also important to maintain a strict diet in order to maximize the effects of the treatment.
This would include the elimination as much as possible of simple sugars in the diet. Cancer cells thrive on simple sugars.
Other foods to avoid included dairy products and red meat. Jessica needed to focus on unprocessed vegetables like cauliflower, beans, carrots, broccoli, and cabbage. Buying for and preparing meals that included such restrictions was difficult. Luckily, Jessica could rely on her daughter to help out.
I looked at it as an opportunity to learn more about nutrition and medicine, which I already was passionate about, but I looked at it as if this is the path of our family's life, and I'm given an opportunity to do something different and learn, then I'm going to do something.
I thought that possibly my role was to take a little bit of a back seat and listen more. Also go to work and provide the income and try to make all this happen. But I was always delighted that my wife and my daughter were becoming so knowledgeable of some of these so-called alternative methods.
I was there to support her in the path she chose. I did not feel she was going to die.
Here there was mostly everybody upset with me because I would not do the chemo, I would not do the surgery, I would not do the radiation at least. But when I spoke with my dear cousin Lucy, she and I spoke the same language.
It was brutal to hear all the different things that she had to go through. I was thrilled when we had the conversation that she was using alternatives, because at that point in my life, I had a lot of experience in seeing what the alternatives do.
Dr. Forsyth's program required extreme dedication. But all the while, Dr. Forsyth insisted that Jessica continue to see her oncologist in order to monitor the progress of the disease. It was during one of these routine checkups that doctors discovered that Jessica's breast cancer had spread into her lungs and pancreas. She was now facing a stage 4 diagnosis.
My heart broke when I heard about Jessica not being well.
I did fear that she was going to die and die soon. I mean, that's what happens to patients in the 4th stage.
But she said, Auntie, don't worry, because I'm taking care of it. Nobody's going to touch me. Nobody's going to give me chemo. Nobody is going to give me radiation.
When she discussed alternative treatment, I jumped at a chance to be helpful.
I just hoped and prayed that it would work for her. I always tell her that you're a young lady and you've got to be strong. And Jessie, if you're not, then I'm going to punch you right in the nose.
In an attempt to take her mind off her troubles, and more importantly, to create awareness for naturopathic cancer research, Jessica utilized her talent for storytelling to work on a documentary for the Cancer Control Society. While researching alternative recovery stories, Jessica met Dr. Bernardo Mahalka. She had no idea then what a huge role he would eventually play in her survival.
Before she told me she had cancer, I said, "You've got cancer." And she said, "How do you know?" I said, "Just looking at you." She said, "Well, they've told me I'm going to die." I said, "Well, you're not going to die." "Okay, you're not going to die. If you do what I tell you, your body will heal itself."
Jessica Biscardi had dreams of living the glamorous life of a Hollywood starlet, just like her mother. But those aspirations were transformed into a fierce struggle to survive stage 4 breast cancer. She had sought the care of Dr. James Forsyth in Reno, Nevada, who prescribed a more holistic approach to healing. It was while working on a documentary for the Cancer Control Society that she met naturopath Dr. Bernardo, who would become a pivotal player in her fight against the disease.
She had breast cancer, she had lung cancer, she had pancreatic cancer. I said, "You're very sick." Jessica decided she wanted to be my patient because there was no way out. She'd been told, "Get your affairs in order, you're gonna die." I told her, "If you want to live, I can help you live."
I was so lucky to be a patient of Dr. Bernardo's. In combination with the Poly MVA, it was a perfect match.
Dr. Bernardo's approach to attacking Jessica's cancer included an even stricter diet than she had implemented before. The principal goal was to manipulate Jessica's blood pH levels from an acidic state to a more alkaline one.
Your body's cellular fluids have to be at a pH of 7.4. Now, to explain pHs, everything in this world runs from pH 1 to pH 14. 1 being very acidic, 7.2 being neutral. Anything over 7 is alkaline. We gotta get you alkalized. We give you coral calcium. We give you fresh juices. You need to drink them with a straw. Why? Because you need the enzymes from the mouth to begin the proper digestion. Why do you take juices? Because you're taking billions of enzymes they're going to start repairing your body.
With Dr. Bernardo, I was on therapeutic vitamins with the juicing and the exercising and keeping the body alkaline.
How can I tell people that they're getting better? Because the pH goes up. Most of them are 5 or 5.5. As it goes up, lactic acid is going down, which means cancer activity is going down.
While Jessica was willing to commit to the program, she knew she wouldn't be able to do it alone.
At that time, I became much more involved with the process and was the vitamin cheerleader to help my mom during that time.
Oh, she had me on a tight schedule.
She was very supportive of her mother. She made all the juices. She made sure she took her pills. And I believe a large part of her survival was due to her daughter's help.
We were very close to this process. I would leap out of bed in the morning thinking of what juices to make and what meals to prepare and what pills need to be done, and I'd mark everything down and write everything down.
And that's what you need. You need a good support team to get you going.
It's difficult to take on this protocol when you're not feeling well. You need someone who is hilarious and loving at your side at all times. It was very difficult, and sometimes my mom did not want to do the protocol at all. We made this process fun. If one can only eat celery juice, carrot juice, and a wheatgrass pill, we made that fun. We watched certain things on television that would make us laugh. We would get our little juices together and go to the movies and laugh.
Obviously, the experience was hardly all fun and games, but the process did bring Jessica and her daughter closer than they'd ever been.
One definitely looks at life through a different set of lenses when someone in their family is diagnosed with anything.
I never wanted to disrupt her life.
I did go to prom, I did go to dances, and my friends were supportive, but they knew there was something different with me. I felt very isolated from the bunch.
I wanted everything to be normal. You know, it made me so happy when she was being with her friends and going to parties and events, and always assured her, I'm fine, I'm doing well, I'm doing fine, because I wanted her to not have anything in her life interrupted.
Dr. Bernardo was diligent about keeping track of Jessica's progress. He would call her to make certain she was logging her pH levels. He would quiz her on her juicing recipes. He made sure she was being true to the modality. One side effect that concerned Jessica, though, was her persistent state of nausea.
The first week, they feel like they got the flu.
He says, don't worry about it. You are going to be fine. The cancer is going to go. It's going to disappear.
And I tell them, because you're killing millions. The average cancer patient, according to the Germans, has between 5 and 6 pounds of parasites. So as we start killing those, you feel like you got the flu, you want to lay down. So I tell my patients, you got to eat the things that I prescribe, mostly green vegetables. You got to sleep, and you got to take your pills. That's all.
And then Dr. Bernardo went on to say, the day that I wake up and I'm feeling fine without feeling nauseous, that's the day I need to go for the MRI and a CAT scan.
Jessica was in the program for 6 months. Her pH had been 7.2, 7.4, 7.6. For 3 months, I said, okay, go get a scan.
So the day that I woke up without any nauseousness, without feeling so lethargic, without feeling so dreadful, that was the day that Dr. Bernardo said, okay, now's the time. Sure enough, I went for the MRI and the CAT scan. And it showed right on the test, the impression. There's no neoplastic disease activity present.
Jessica Biscardi was able to overcome desperate odds. Stage 4 cancer patients are routinely viewed as terminal by the conventional medical community. Yet Jessica avoided additional surgery, refused chemotherapy and radiation, and now here she was with her cancer in remission.
Jessica is a fine young lady. I told her, if you follow my program, you live. If you don't, you'll die.
The main thing that I've learned is to boost the immune system and stay in a happy frame of mind.
She came through this victorious. So she was the type of ideal patient that every doctor wants to have.
I love that statement that Jessie is healed.
I hope that we can continue to be close and know that we are safe now from this.
If I can share one thing to share with those who are facing cancer, just when it seems so hard, just when it seems like all hope is lost, please don't give up. Please gather your strength. Talk to as many people as you can. Have a good look at your life and see if you're under any stress, what it is. Reverse all of that. Be happy. Do whatever it takes.
I would definitely want to be in the medical profession helping people, because when I was taking care of my mom, other people's stories were the #1 motivator that helped us get through it. So I want to give back.
It is so rewarding for me to help others with cancer. They know they can call me anytime to help them and give them some comfort.
As a cancer survivor, Jessica visits her doctor regularly, and a checkup soon after her remission revealed she also had hypothyroidism, a condition that's treatable with medication. But if undetected, hypothyroidism can prove fatal if a patient adds chemotherapy into the mix. Had Jessica followed the advice of the doctors who pressured her to start chemo immediately, she might very well have died after the first dose. Jessica has lived a charmed life indeed, in more ways than one. To learn more about Jessica Biscardi's story, go to our website. Join us next time for another remarkable story of personal triumph. I'm Don Wildman for the Incurables.